Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. This is almost a religious act now on the channel. Monday mornings, we get videos out here for the Religion of Chelsea Football Club in the form of your news updates after the weekend. It's the final weekend where we won't be seeing Chelsea in Premier League action because this is the week where Chelsea return, and this could be the day that we see some serious movements in Chelsea's long-term pursuit of Moises Caicedo of Brighton. We're going to get the hype building today. So if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, it's happening. I believe it, I feel it, and I know it. All right? And don't ask me how I know it, I just do. So make sure you're subscribed. And whilst you're at it, yesterday, I said it was my birthday, and you guys hit the like button 5,000 times. So it's not my birthday today, it's the day after. I'm 364 days away from my 30th. So for that reason alone, hit the like button on this video. I want to point you guys in the direction of today's sponsor. How would you guys like a chance to win tickets to Chelsea's opening game of the Premier League season? Paramount UK are currently offering new customers the opportunity to win 5 tickets to Chelsea versus Liverpool at Stamford Bridge on Sunday the 13th of August. To be in with a chance of winning this incredible prize, create a Paramount account and opt into the promotion, then place a £15 bet on any Chelsea versus Liverpool market. You'll also get a £30 free bet for entering that. Full terms and conditions apply with all the links that you guys need in the description of this video. Good luck to all of you, and let's get back into the video. And we will get into the Chelsea news. It was last night, it was my birthday. I was trying to go to bed a bit earlier to get into routines, you know. Why start the day after your birthday? Get those good routines in early. And I was looking on my phone, and there was the breaking news that Moises Caicedo was not in the Brighton squad. I was busy watching Arsenal versus Manchester City, a fascinating game of football that I think gives us a good idea as to what we can expect in the Premier League this season. Arsenal and City, I want to talk about that briefly in a moment, but we're going to talk firstly about this Caicedo news. Clear message from player side, he wants to leave this summer. Negotiations with Chelsea remain ongoing, but Brighton insist on their position. Bid has to be improved to make the deal happen, and this is the key part, I think. Yes, Chelsea aren't going to go back in with a 4th official bid that matches the 3rd one. That would be ludicrous. That would be a waste of time, and it would be dumb. And with only 6 days to go until Chelsea face Liverpool, I think we know what we're dealing with now when it comes to Brighton and Hove Albion. Ben Jacobs has also gone on and said, Hove Albion, I just call it, no Moises Caicedo in Brighton squad for the friendly against Rayo Vallecano. Minor hamstring tightness, the official reason. A year ago, Marc Cucurella missed an Espanyol friendly with a minor calf issue and joined Chelsea 6 days later. Hashtag CFC will bid again soon. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Chelsea, on this Monday morning, whilst I'm recording this video, are probably preparing with one of these things, keyboard. They're probably preparing this next bid for Moises Caicedo. It is absolutely, in my opinion, not a random coincidence that Caicedo just has a minor hamstring injury that completely takes him out of the squad when there's only a week to go here in this transfer window. Chelsea have been persistent. Brighton, you could argue, have been even more persistent and consistent with the way in which they have shown their price for Caicedo. They have made it so that Chelsea will need to show their hand in order to get the player. But when we look at the bid that was 3rd official bid from Chelsea Football Club at £80 million, and now we're getting to a point where Caicedo is talking about minor issues with injuries. He's obviously had the player awards at Brighton now, which was, I think, at the beginning of last week. There has always been such minor movements in the stance of the player, Chelsea, Brighton, in this saga. And I think this one, with Roberto De Zerbi leaving him out or him not being in the squad, it's not about De Zerbi leaving him out, or maybe Caicedo has just lied, potentially. This could actually be a case of what could happen here. Caicedo could have just simply said, my hamstring feels a bit tight because the more he plays, the more difficult potentially it could be for Chelsea. Brighton will probably look at this and think, well, what can we expect from Caicedo? He's made it very clear that he wants to move to Chelsea. Chelsea have been reluctant to submit that official fourth bid, but with Caicedo clearly removing himself from the squad to play against Rayo Vallecano from Spain, it looks as though any bid now from Chelsea will need to be considered more by Brighton. When Zerbi was asked about Caicedo, do you expect Caicedo to return to training on Monday, which is the day? Zerbi, I don't know. That's good then, mate. If Moises leaves, we'll find another important player. If Moises stays, I'll be happy for us. It's not my problem. Well, sadly, it is your problem, Mr. Roberto Zerbi, because Caicedo was your best player last year. You did incredibly well last season to get Brighton to where they were. You're in the Europa League. You've clearly got a beautiful style of football, which many people look at you as a manager and think, well, Pep Guardiola leaves Man City. Maybe Roberto Zerbi, the step up in his career, is to go from Brighton to Manchester City and manage Manchester City. At Brighton, it's possible to lose some players. We always move forward. At least with this kind of comment, Zerbi knows exactly what this move for Caicedo means. In the same way that we can look at Roberto Zerbi and make the comments that I've just made, which, by the way, there's no guarantee that A, Guardiola leaves anytime soon, but B, there's no guarantee that Man City would look at Zerbi as his replacement, but I would say that makes a lot of sense. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. With a club like Brighton, they are always going to be not only making do with what they've got and trying to work around the fact that they're not one of those massive clubs yet that they're going to be able to compete with. When Chelsea come knocking on the door, Brighton may have, at this point in time, maybe as good a chance as Chelsea to finish high in the Premier League table based on what we saw last season from Chelsea and also Brighton. But realistically, we can't really change history. We can't change the stature of a club like Chelsea. When Chelsea come knocking on the door, players like Caicedo, when you hear about this Chelsea project, it's very exciting. And the reason I want to talk about the Arsenal and Manchester City game in today's video is because these are the two teams right now that you've got to be looking to emulate. You've got to be looking yesterday at the way that Mikel Arteta tactically managed to silence Manchester City after not beating them for 8 matches. The way that Arteta's team managed the game yesterday is exactly what teams need to do against Manchester City this season. Yes, Kevin De Bruyne didn't start, but when De Bruyne doesn't start, somebody else with top quality does for Manchester City. And one thing that Pep Guardiola has been doing all of last season, all across the last few years, is adapting, coming up with formulas that managers in the Premier League aren't aware of, sticking ahead of the curve and making sure his Man City team are setting the pace. What Arsenal did so well yesterday, and granted they scored a very lucky goal late in the game to even send it to penalties in the first place, what Arsenal did was manage and contain them incredibly well, and then they tried to beat them at their own game at times. And I think overall, the balance of the play, Arsenal, in my opinion, probably deserved to win. Created good chances. If Kai Havertz could score and finish things, they probably would have won it in 90 minutes themselves. With this Caicedo deal, I think it's happening today. I think Chelsea are getting their man, which would give Pochettino so much more confidence going into this season that he has got a squad of players with high enough quality to be able to do what Arteta has been doing at Arsenal. Arteta has had time to succeed at Arsenal. He's had time to cultivate his team in his image to be able to be in that position yesterday to finally beat Manchester City after 8 in a row failed attempts. So, for Pochettino, this Caicedo deal is everything. He's the man that we've clearly wanted this whole time. When you look at the weak spots in this Chelsea squad, that midfield pivot, Enzo Fernandez partner, has been the spot that we have been desperate for all season long. And I think now, with Caicedo not being involved yesterday, this deal is closer than ever before. I don't see it at this point if Caicedo is kind of, I'm not saying lying, but if he's milking this minor hamstring issue yesterday, I think it's going to be less than 100 million now. I think Chelsea could maybe even go in with an 85 mil plus 5 mil add-ons, and that could be enough. We're still led to believe Brighton are being very, very stern, but when you look at Zerbi's comments, it just looks as though he pretty much knows that the writing is on the wall here for Moises Caicedo to join Chelsea. When he's asked about Caicedo coming to training on Monday, he's like, I don't know. I mean, that's great, mate. Like, he's still contracted to you. You've said that you think he's going to be there in September when the season starts and when the transfer window is closed. All right, then. Well, it's time that Chelsea played the cards now and we move and sign Caicedo this week so that he could be potentially in Pochettino's squad to face Liverpool at the weekend. And I think it's one of those where if we wrap this up on Monday, Tuesday, latest Wednesday, is there a way that Caicedo could even just walk into the team? Is it Pochettino has wanted him that badly that the Gallagher pivot thing, as good as Gallagher was, will Pochettino be like, right, I trust in you. You've literally had 3 days at the club. Go and beat Jurgen Klopp for me. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see that. Let's move into a couple more news stories here to end this video today. Angelo Gabriel will join Strasbourg on loan. The player has never changed, as Chelsea want him to develop playing as a regular starter. Chelsea want to proceed the same way with David Washington once they close the deal with Santos. We spoke about this in the news video yesterday. Chelsea working on a deal to bring 18-year-old Santos striker Washington to the club. And Angelo Gabriel, who impressed us in the early stages of our pre-season, he's always been going on loan to Strasbourg. Chelsea have created this multi-club model with Strasbourg being the anchor, the arm of that in France, where we seem to be spending a lot of money on players. This makes a lot of sense. And I think now, at the end of last season, it was so easy for us to sit here and criticise massively some of the recruitment from last season because a lot of those players are either still waiting to be sold, should be sold, or have been sold and have moved on. So now, it feels as though the recruitment that we've done from January through to this transfer window now, there's a clear vision and there's a clear execution of this vision within what Chelsea are doing business-wise. I think Gabriel moving to Strasbourg, realistically, he wasn't going to have too many opportunities this season with Raheem Sterling still at the club, Noni Madueke still at the club. So we move to discuss Bashir Humphreys. This comes from Nizar Kinsella. Bashir Humphreys is in talks about extending his deal at Chelsea after an exceptional pre-season tour. I wouldn't say that's an exaggeration. I think Bashir Humphreys was very good. All parties have agreed it is best for him to go on loan, but Maurizio Pochettino was very impressed with his displays in the USA. I think, again, it's important here, when it comes to the players that get chances in pre-season, we can say, well, it doesn't really matter because a lot of these are going to go out on loan anyway. A lot of these won't make it at Chelsea Football Club. When you look at Chelsea's centre-back options now, we are stacked. We have got players who are 25 years and younger. You've got the brilliant, mercurial Thiago Silva with that plethora of experience. Chelsea are good. We are set. Alfie Gilchrist might stay in the Premier League 2 side, but Bashir Humphreys, he was good on his loan last year in Germany, very good in pre-season, and I think the fact that Pochettino has expressed how happy he has been with Humphreys' performance will give Bashir some hope that maybe a career at Chelsea is still very possible. And then next pre-season, we can bring some of these players back in again, compare them to this pre-season, see how they've developed, see how Chelsea's playing style has developed. And I think there is opportunities moving forward for players like Bashir at Chelsea Football Club. But this has been your Monday morning Chelsea news updates. If you did enjoy them, be sure to hit the like button on this video. It's a big, big week. We've got Liverpool at the weekend. We're going to take a look in more detail about Pochettino, Klopp, how these two match up. Because off the top of my head here, I think this could be an incredible opening game of the season. The atmosphere at Stamford Bridge is going to be absolutely electric. Check out the links to Paramatch, as we said earlier, top of the description. Come on, you Blues.